Rebecca, I know you know how to do an American accent. Can you show us?
Well, I can only do one type of American accent, Jules, and it has to be the Valley Girl done by an English person. So it's like really, really like that, and I really have to like touch my hair at the same time, and like so. If you use the word "so," then it really helps you get into the voice. So if you could just join me on Instagram at Rebecca Lowe TV.
Oh my God. Hey guys, welcome on into Drinks with Binks. I'm Julie Stewart-Binks coming to you from the JSB Museum. And for our long-time listeners and watchers, that means I am coming to you from my childhood bedroom in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, where nothing has changed. Time stands still, no one leaves, and no one will. It's literally exactly the same. I had to move the Christmas tree that was behind here from the last time we shot here and put up some of these wonderful gourds because it is Canadian Thanksgiving time in Canada. And it's also been the international break. We've had the CONMEBOL South American World Cup qualifiers streaming exclusively on fuboTV. And because of this international break, we thought we would take the opportunity to be able to get one of the best broadcasters in America, of course, the best soccer broadcaster, football, whatever you want to call it, in America on our show. We've wanted to have her on for ages, host of Premier League Live on NBC Sports and daytime coverage of the Olympics for so many years. Mother of Dragons, friend of mine, Rebecca Lowe. Cheers. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
It's so lovely to be on your show. I wish we were face to face in real life, but this will have to do for now. I'm just so happy, number one, that you have a proper cup there. You're actually out-teeing me with your beautiful cup. And now that's because you're part of the Commonwealth. You know that, don't you? Because you're a Commonwealth member like me. We just get it.
It is.
Jules, you know?
It is.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, by the way.
Yes. We still pledge allegiance to the monarchy. Well, not really, but, in spirit. But we've got some tea here. We've got some English breakfast because tea is your thing.
Jules, it really is.
Right?
I mean, I genuinely don't think I could live without it. There are the occasional day where something happens and I just haven't managed. I mean, it's very rare that I haven't managed to get a cup of tea, and I'm irritable. It's like a drug, and I am never ever not going to be on this drug. It's just, it's the greatest. It gives me a feeling of warmth, happiness. Oh, it's everything.
I love it. Okay, well, take a nice big swig of tea here on the show, and I know that Brits love their tea, and it hasn't really landed as much over here, but until now. And you have been having some time off during the international break because you're always so busy during the Premier League season. What's something that maybe would surprise us about what you do during your time off that's non-football related?
Well, the first thing that springs to mind is that I don't watch any football. I know that's football related, but I could barely tell you what the England score was. I think they're actually playing today. I don't even know. This is why, because I spend every hour, you know what it's like, Jules, when you work in sport, you're basically never not working because you're soaking in every single thing that's happening. I mean, lucky for me, I only have to do one sport. I mean, you guys that work across all American sports, that gives me palpitations, thinking how much information you have to cover. But for me, I just 24/7, I'm doing the Premier League. So when it comes to an international break, I really back away from everything football. So that would be the first thing that I don't, which may surprise people. I don't watch any, I don't even think I've seen any international games this international break. I read about them later and catch up on them, but don't watch them. But my big thing that I do is I bake. I bake and I bake and I bake and I bake, Jules. I'm a bit obsessed with baking.
We saw on Instagram your Halloween 6-layered rainbow bonanza craziness. Like, we'll put up pictures of this. Why and how did you bake this?
I did it because I hosted a little tea party for my little boy, a Halloween tea party, because, I'm working on Halloween like most years. And so I don't get to go trick-or-treating with him. So I'm like, what can I do to give him a memory? So I hosted him a little English-style tea party, but Halloween also. And as the centerpiece, I decided in my wisdom to do a 6-layer explosion cake because I kind of like to challenge myself. I've never done one before, and it took me 3 hours, and it was hard, very hard. But I don't know, and I don't even really eat it when I've baked it. In fact, I hardly ever eat anything that I've baked for some weird reason. I just give it. So today I've got to make 2 deliveries when I go and pick up my boy from school. I've got 2 friends who I'm delivering lemon drizzle squares to that I've made. And tomorrow I'm going to make a coffee and walnut cake for another friend. My poor friends, I just give them cakes like every day. I just love doing it.
I'm sure they're not complaining about it. That's a very kind friend, and I wish that you lived closer to me, as I don't bake. I don't do a whole lot in the kitchen. Neither does my boyfriend, so it's a real problem over in the house. But let's get back to some football. And first of all, how do you feel about people saying soccer?
Better now than I did 9 years ago. When I first came here, I was like, I think you just need to mean football. Now I'm like, I get it. And, there are occasions, I have to say, that I call it soccer myself. It's when I'm talking to Americans who don't really know much about football or soccer that I just say soccer, because it's like another language sometimes, speaking English and American. So I just can't bother to translate. So I say pants instead of trousers sometimes. It's really getting quite stressful how much I'm changing, to be quite honest. But occasionally I will say soccer. So it's fine. Go ahead and say soccer.
Okay, I notice I change from, I'll say restroom in America and then washroom or bathroom in Canada. And I said restroom in Canada the other day, and it was just like, oh my God, you're so American.
I know. People get mad. I don't know if in Canada people get mad at you. And in England, people get mad at me like, it's a loo. Why are you saying bathroom? You're not going for a bath. I'm like, okay, that's so American now. Well, I have been here 9 years. I mean, what do you want me to do?
Yes. Well, everyone out there, so our struggles as foreigners here in America. We have to change. It's like a different language all the time. So you're always thinking, and you're a fan of Crystal Palace. We know that. And we know that Patrick Vieira, who coached in America, NYCFC, at the beginning of his managerial career. What do you think about him so far?
Well, Jules, it's so difficult to judge. I feel like this could either be a massive hit or a big miss. And I think we're going to find out relatively quickly, I think. Because there have been moments where I'm like, am I watching Palace? This is like watching Brazil. Like they're playing some football that I've not seen them play since they've been in the Premier League. So there's obviously something that he's doing right. I hear brilliant things about him on the training ground. I hear his commitment is second to none, which is a given, but I like to hear that's what people are saying about him. But we're not really winning many games. And when it comes down to it, as well as I do, it's about results business, which is why Christmas will be an interesting time. If he keeps us where we are, sort of mid to lower table, I think Palace fans will be fine. I mean, we're still riding on the wave that we're even in the Premier League after 9 years. This is quite exceptional. So I'll take 14th. I'll take 15th if you give it to me right now. So far, the jury is out, Jules, on Patrick. But I want him to succeed desperately because I like him a lot.
It's like you have low expectations, you'll never be disappointed. So if you can just stay promoted within the Premier League. And you mentioned since 9 years, actually, so Palace playing Arsenal, and of course Patrick Vieira at Emirates will be very exciting. And Crystal Palace has done really well at Emirates, like relatively speaking. They think that Arsenal hasn't won there since Wenger was in charge. Give us, I like Arsenal a lot. I used to live near Emirates and in North London. I'm not a Brit, but I'll just say that. What's your best trash talk for this? Crystal Palace v Arsenal.
Well, I mean, my best trash talk is that Arsenal are a bit of a letdown for themselves. Yeah, they've had a couple of good victories, the North London derby, but Tottenham were rubbish. Burnley and Norwich, they're not very good, are they? So, Arsenal, just calm yourselves down a little bit, okay? You've won a few games, Mikel Arteta. Why don't we look at the previous 18 months where you haven't won a lot? Okay, other than the FA Cup. But you inherited that team. I'm not thinking that Arsenal are heading anywhere in the right direction fast. I think Palace can nip in, take 3 points. Vieira can take his adulation, get the 3 points, and just ship out of there fast. Yeah, that's what's going to happen.
You didn't even need to trash talk. You just literally put stats out there that were correct and very disheartening for anyone with Arsenal fandom, especially they won the North London derby. That's like, okay, the rest of the season is good to go. Yeah. We have so much more we want to get to with Rebecca Lowe. You know her, of course, from Premier League Live on NBC Sports and NBC's Olympic coverage, and so much more. Baking on Instagram. We'll be back on Drinks with Binks with more next.
Hi, I'm Benny Fellhaber, and I just finished my Drinks with Binks.
Hey guys, welcome back to Drinks with Binks. I'm Julie Stewart-Binks, joined by the wonderful Rebecca Lowe, where we are sipping on some English breakfast because she is British and loves tea, and we drink drinks on the show. So
Good. So good.
That's the good stuff. Very good. And when we talk about England and the fact that, of course, you're from there, you've moved to America, you've been just absolutely thriving with NBC and doing so much here. How surreal is it sometimes to be over in America, yet you are covering a league that is in the country of which you came from?
I mean, it's surreal just being in America, Jules. I never really, I kind of dreamt about moving to America when I was a kid. I went to high school for a year in Pennsylvania, of all places. And I don't know, I just had a link to it then. And I just loved it so much and thought, God, I'd love to live there. But I never, because I then went to work in football, I never thought ever I'd come to America. So it was so amazing when I got the call from NBC all those years ago that this was actually going to come to fruition. So then I'm in America, first of all, still surreal, even though it's 9 years on. And secondly, I then go to work to talk about something that I used to go to every week. I mean, I was sideline reporter for 4 years, and then before that, just interviewing players for different shows all the time. And it was my everything, and it's like it's so many people's everything in the UK. And now I'm so far away from it, but the way that NBC, I think, do the show helps you to feel as close to it as possible. So the good thing, I suppose, is I'm in the same position as everybody else in the States who's watching the Premier League. We all want to be closer to it. Mm-hmm. So how can we get closer to it? We'll try and bring it as much as we can to those people. So I want to be as close as possible. So I try and make people feel like they're as close as possible. So maybe that helps that I'm English, I've experienced it, and I know how important it is to people to feel close to it. So yeah, the whole thing is kind of weird. Yeah.
I asked that because I was thinking when I had moved to the States and worked at ESPN, I came back to Toronto to cover TFC and MLS Cup, and I thought it was such a weird thing that I had to leave the city I was in to come back and cover it for something else, which was quite surreal. But I think what you said was spot on, in that you guys are able to really bring the essence of football in England to people here, because you get you get the feelings of the pubs and in the stands, and it feels like you're there and you're experiencing the culture of football, not just even the sport, but like what it means to people in England, which gives me like shivers thinking about that. So, I mean, you guys do such a great job with that, of course. And I have to ask you, though, what do people in England think about Ted Lasso? Do they buy into it like Americans have?
Oh, they love it, Jules. They absolutely love it. And I think they've realized, so for many, many years before I moved over here, I think most people thought that Ted Lasso was kind of commonplace, that there were lots of Ted Lassos across the United States, that nobody in America knew anything about football, and they called it soccer, and they called it the upper 90 instead of the top corner, and they got it all wrong, and that was the perception. And I probably had that similar perception myself. Then I come over here and I realize, oh my God, everyone's like an encyclopedia about the club that they support. Everyone, because to be a Premier League fan in America, Jules, you have to double down. Like, you have to really work hard to be a fan of your team. You have to know the history. You have to gain credibility. You have to watch at crazy hours. So it came out at just the right time, because I actually did a skit with Jason Sudeikis, the second Ted Lasso skit that he did for NBC before it became a TV show. And I remember thinking, and that English people are just going to think that this is they're not even going to get the funny side of it. They're just going to think it's like serious, because this is what they think Americans are. But I think over the years, England has started to be re-educated, actually, into the American Premier League fan. And so they are getting the joke totally, and they are totally understanding that it's an American taking the mickey out of himself. But oh my gosh, it's what a great show. And when I did the skit with him, when this was still such a small thing, all those years, this is 2014, I did the skit with him, Jules. And I mean, he came into the studio, he was like, okay, so there's no script. We're just gonna improv. And I mean, not like you're like a professional. I was like, I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry. Is there a script for me though, right? There's a script for me. He's like, oh, no, just follow me. I'm like, oh, okay, this is literally Jason Sudeikis on my set. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. But he is so talented that he just sort of took me along with him, and it just gave me even more respect for the man. And now the show, I mean, I save all the episodes up to watch on the flight to work, and gives me warmth. It's like a cup of tea in television form. That's what it's like.
It really is. You know, it's funny you mentioned the improv because I noticed, you know, when you guys did this scene and he looks behind and he goes live instead of live, like Premier League Live. And I thought in my head, and because you look back to it and it looked so perfect. I'm like, wow, Rebecca's such a good actress too. And then the fact that you said is like, oh, improvise, that's incredible. Will we see you potentially in the future on this show? Because we should.
Oh, bless you. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't have any plans. I mean, no one's asked me that. So I'm very available, very available. But I think
no one's asked you. Like, we have to get you on the show.
I know, but I think that the problem is that it's in England, isn't it? It's based in England. So what would I randomly be doing in England? I suppose. I mean, if Ted came back and like, but I suppose that wouldn't. I don't think that's going to work. I don't know. I'm totally.
I think you could still be you though, broadcaster from NBC covering him over there, right?
Because I need to get in there, Jules. Get me on the show.
Arlo's in it,
right?
Like, you definitely need to be on it.
I've got to.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Okay, season 3, we're gonna work. Brett Goldstein, all you guys, we're gonna get Rebecca Lowe on the show.
Thank you, Jules. Appreciate it.
Even though there's already another Rebecca, we'll have 2 Rebeccas.
That's the problem. You're right, and she is an amazing Rebecca.
In England, there is promotion relegation, and we are going to do some of Rebecca Lowe's promotion relegation when we return on Drinks with Binks. Don't go anywhere.
Hi there, I'm Arlo White of NBC Sports, and I just had transatlantic drinks with Binks. Check it out.
Hey guys, welcome back to Drinks with Binks. I'm JSB, joined by the wonderful Rebecca Lowe. You know her from Premier League Live on NBC Sports. And we are going to play a little game of the Rebecca Lowe League promotion relegation. So RLL, nice. I just wanted to make like an, acronym league, RLL promotion relegation, where I'm going to give you a topic and then 2 different choices, and you will promote one of them and you have to relegate the other. Not both of them can be promoted. It'll be some hard decisions. Okay, let us begin here. Which EPL fan base is more bearable, Manchester United or Manchester City?
Oh, this is really mean. I would promote Manchester City. And I'm going to relegate Manchester United fan base.
Okay, and one quick reason why?
Because a lot of the Manchester United fans, A, are not from Manchester, so just find that a little bit annoying, and B, are so used to success that now they haven't had any in 8 years, they can be a bit like spoiled children, like, give me success, we deserve it, it should be ours. No, let somebody else have a go.
Right, you got to earn it. I was going to put West Ham in there, but that was going to be too easy. Okay, next up, the more likable royal, in your opinion, Prince Harry or Prince William?
I love my royals, Jules. This is so mean. I'm going to have to promote Wills. I mean, how can you not promote Wills? The guy's going to be the next king. He's an absolute ledge. I'm relegating Harry, but only by default, because you know what? I do think that you don't have to be like Team Wills or Team Harry. You can just be Team Wills and Harry. And I'm Team Wills and Harry, but purely based on, the king, the next, the one after Charles, the next proper king. I'm promoting Wills.
Going for Wills because he's going to be the next king. Got to stay in the good books. You never, It's a bit of an interesting question these days, that's for sure. Okay, well, let's see. Here's another interesting question. Who will win a World Cup next? England or USA?
If you'd asked me this 6 months ago, I'd have said that it would be neck and neck. But I've changed because I think England are in a excellent moment. So I'm promoting England. I'm relegating the United States of America. But by the way, when the United States get their act together and become the force that they should become based on the size of country, facilities, money, pool of talent, etc., I'm not sure a lot of other countries are going to win the World Cup for a while. I mean, whenever that happens, it could be in 10 years or 50 years. They should be winning the World Cup every other World Cup with what they have at their disposal. Okay,
I totally agree with that. And also Canada on the up and up over here.
Okay.
Just so we're they might qualify. Okay, last one. I think you know what I'm going to do here. Okay. I need you to tell me if you are going to promote or relegate me as Rebecca Lowe, okay? Hello and welcome on into Premier League Live alongside Robbie Musto, Robbie Earl and Tim Howard. I am Rebecca Lowe. It is a massive derby today at Old Trafford. We have Manchester United in the exquisite form taking on Manchester City, and I realise I'm just so overcome with emotion. My improv is so bad. I'm not trying to make fun of myself, but I am Rebecca Lowe, and this is NBC Sports. You are watching the Premier League.
I'm promoting you, Jules. I'm promoting you. I mean, some of those words, I'm like, do I actually sound like NBC Sports?
No.
Like, that is hilarious.
That was such bad improv. I was just like, I didn't even know where I was going. And then I was like, oh no, she's going to be offended because I improv so bad.
No, but you did good with like the pronunciation, some of those words that are not easy for Americans/Canadians to
yes,
and like to
Derby.
say. So yeah, Derby. Yeah.
Yes, Premier League
Promoted.
Live.
Promoted, Jules.
Promoted. Okay. All right. Well, cheers. Thanks so much. I'm not really sure where my accent's from. Maybe Ealing, maybe not. But we'll have a whole lot more with Rebecca Lowe on the other side. She has actually an American accent that she's going to debut for us here on Drinks with Binks. Subscribe to the Fubo Sports YouTube page for clips and full episodes. Follow us at Fubo Sports on all social media channels. Also available in podcast form wherever you find your favorite pods. Hey guys, we've had an awesome time drinking and binking here with NBC Sports Rebecca Lowe, and she's had good fun as I take the piss out of her with an accent of there's nothing really. Can you, Rebecca? I know you know how to do an American accent. Can you show us?
Well, when I can only do one type of American accent, Jules, and it has to be the Valley Girl done by an English person. So it's like really, really like that, and I really have to like touch my hair at the same time, and like so. If you use the word "so," then it really helps you get into the voice. So if you could just join me on Instagram at Rebecca Lowe TV.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh, you are on Selling Sunset. I think you just got on Selling Sunset. Wow, that was like wild seeing you do that accent. I'm like, oh my gosh. Wow, okay.
Obviously nobody sounds like
thank
that
you so
in real
much.
life, except for me.
Yeah, a lot of people in LA and the Valley sound like that. But you did a great job, and thank you so much. You have EPL Fan Fest. Tell us where we can just find that.
Fan Fest coming live to LA, the Coliseum, the 23rd, 24th. That's next Saturday and Sunday. Come down from 4 a.m. We're going to be live on air because, of course, the time difference is crazy. So it's going to be pitch black. Come and join us. It'll be so much fun all the way till about midday. And you can just walk in. You can just come down and walk up if you haven't got tickets yet. Come down. LA, next Saturday, Sunday, 23rd, 24th.
Love it. Thank you so much for joining us. We know you're so busy. Go back, have some fun making another crazy cake, and can't wait to watch you on Premier League Live. And everything you do, you're just such an inspiration and such a wonderful person. And I think that that is something that really sticks with me and so many women in this industry is you're just a delight. And thank you so much for paving the way for so many of us. So cheers to you. And we, guys, you can make sure you can check out all of our other episodes of Drinks with Binks and the Cooligans and Gilbert Show and T.O. Show. We have so many shows on YouTube at Fubo Sports. And until next time, bottoms up. Bitches. Feel bad saying that in front of a British person?